All right, it's another edition of Saturday Morning Story. And this is inspired by my childhood and the weekends after piano lessons. Sometimes we would go to Chicago Public Library downtown, in addition to various stops that my mom would go to and it drag us to, as far as Weebles, Carson, Stevens, and other places up and down Wabash and State Street. Okay, but this book, I don't choose these, they just come and I admire it. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. Now, this is not necessarily an early learning book as far as for early learners or early readers, but let's see. Hopefully we could do this quickly and efficiently, even though there are a lot of words, because he had a remarkable life. Muhammad Ali, the People's Champion, written by Walter Dean Myers and Alex Delinius, Delanois. And I just want you all to check out that cover. Isn't it beautiful? That painting. It's remarkable. I think that's acrylic. So I was drawn by this presentation, and I think you're going to be in for a treat. No, I did not pre-read these. I want to be just as surprised by the pages as you are. And here you see a compilation of so many of his famous quotes. I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Your bands can't hit what your eyes can't see. God gave me this physical impairment to remind me that I'm not the greatest. He is. Oh, hallelujah. He's giving glory to God. Yes. The man who is not courageous enough to take risks, let's say the man or the woman, boy or girl, not courageous enough to take risks, will accomplish nothing in life. That's right. Do not be risk adverse. The Lord will lead you. All right. I am the greatest fighter in the world. I am the greatest poet in the world. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Well, okay. We know he was something else. Muhammad Ali, look at this. Oh my goodness, look at the colors here. Woo! Alex Delanois. My goodness, you outdid yourself. Look at the primary colors and then the outlines. This is a masterpiece. Okay. I hope I won't get so distracted. Woo, we called Muhammad Gigi when he was a baby because he used to say, Gigi, Gigi, the champion's mother, Odessa Bird Clay said. And then when he became a Golden Gloves champion, he told us he was trying to say Golden Gloves. So he knew all along. Muhammad Ali was born on the 17th of January, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. His parents named him Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. Oh, he was something else. GG. Louisville was a quiet southern town. People rode buses to get around, but a lot of young boys preferred to ride their bicycles. One night, this kid came downstairs and he was crying. Somebody had stolen his bicycle, and of course he was very upset about that. Joe Martin, a former policeman, said he was only 12 years old then, and he was going to whip whoever stole his bicycle. I said, well, you better learn how to fight. Before you start challenging people. I remember in a documentary how a police officer opened a gym and started training Muhammad Ali. In his spare time, Joe Martin taught kids how to box. Soon, Cassius became a student. Cassius trained him in the gym. He didn't hit hard, but he could move fast. He also talked a lot about what he was going to do to his opponents. After fighting in amateur tournaments, Cassius became a Golden Gloves champion. So you see how this man took out time, and he did that for so many. I think there's a typo here. He said Cassius trained. Okay, yeah, he trained hard in the gym. All right, good. Woo, look at this. In 1960, at the age of 18, he qualified for a place on the American Olympic boxing team. He was on his way to the games in Rome. Cassius, who was very fast, won his first fights easily. The fourth fight for the championship was much harder. In the first round, Polish boxer Zbigniew, Pietrzakowski used his toughness and experience to push Cassius around. In the second round, Cassius was still losing. But in the third round, the real Cassius Clay emerged. That's right, let your real self come from the surface and let the world see. And he used all of his skills to outpunch the older man. Cassius Clay Jr. won the gold. Overnight, he became famous all over the world. An overnight sensation. Woo! And yet, back home, there were still many places where black people could not go. Even if they had won gold medals in the Olympics, the Louisville sponsoring group took an interest in Cassius and arranged for him to train with an ex-light heavyweight champ, Archie Moore. But Moore's way of fighting was too defensive for Cassius. He wanted to focus on his speed and fancy footwork because he was Gigi. He switched trainers. In his first professional fight, Cassius defeated Tony Hunsaker. Okay, you can tell I am not a boxing aficionado. Over the next 3 years, he won 18 more fights, all in a row. Look at that. So you see what was going on in civil rights. We demand voting rights, equal rights now. No more Jim Crow now. I am a man. I am a woman. White only. Look at this masterpiece. Oh, this is gorgeous. Oh, but many fight fans had doubts. They said Cassius used his speed too much and held his hands too low. And he didn't sound like a heavyweight fighter. I am the greatest fighter in the world. I am the greatest poet in the world. I am the greatest. I am the greatest, he shouted. People began calling Cassius the Louisville Lip. Cassius loved to get attention and clown around, that's the truth. But he also had a serious side that few people saw. In Kentucky, black people couldn't ride in the front of a bus, he said, or drink a cup of coffee where they wanted. Cassius saw people being beaten and put in jail when they tried to get their civil rights. We were talking about this week as far as some paintings I was able to be inspired by. The photograph of the 4 famous college young men from North Carolina A&T back in the 1950s from Greensboro, and how they sat at the lunch counters and they would bring their spirals, their notebooks, their homework, and they would do their work, and they would sit with dignity, and they would just stay at those lunch tables until they were served. Talking about boycotts and civil rights. And I have that huge painting. Oh my goodness, it has to be 6 feet by 6 feet, 5 feet. I have that painting in front of my classroom that I spent days painting. I have a painting of Ruby Bridges. Ruby D should be on there too. As far as what she went through as a young girl. And then, of course, the famous Rosa Parks bus. So we come from strength. Woo! Let's celebrate who we are and the victory that so many of us are enjoying. Clay, look at that, talk about victories and battles. Miami Beach Convention Hall, main event. Clay, also known as the Louisville Lip, and oh my goodness, that's Sonny Liston. Oh, he's so scary. Also known as a black bear. Most people thought Cassius was a loudmouth young man who had not faced top fighters. When he signed a contract to fight Charles Sonny Liston, the heavyweight champion of the world, one sports writer wrote, "Some of us would like to buy a large insurance policy on Cassius Clay before he steps in with good old Sonny Liston." Woo! He a mean something. He was. Liston was a ferocious puncher. He had won his last 3 fights by knocking out his opponent in the first round. But Cassius was still confident. I know that's right. I'm going to put that ugly bear on the floor, he said about Sonny Liston. He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ should be pretty like me. Ew, that's hilarious. I'm going to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, Cassius said to anyone who would listen. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. The fight started. Liston, in a rage, threw furious punches at Cassius, but kept missing. Cassius hit Liston with quick, stinging punches. 6 rounds later, a battered and frustrated Liston did not come out for the 7th round. Cassius Clay was the heavyweight champion of the world. Oh my goodness. Look at this. He did that to Sonny Liston. The entire sports world was stunned. Within days, Cassius Clay would shock the sports world again. He announced that he had changed his religion and had changed his name. My name is Muhammad Ali, and I don't want anyone calling me by my slave name, Cassius Clay. People asked Ali why he had joined the Nation of Islam, a group that many felt wasn't a religious organization, but a hate group. I choose to be Muslim. I choose to be a follower of Elijah Muhammad, Ali said, because he was the only one offering a definite plan which helped my people. He was asked if he was against white people. He said, no, I like white people. I like my own people, Ali said. I am America. I am the part you won't recognize, but you get used to me. Black, confident, cocky, my name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goals, my own. Get used to me. All right. Okay. GG. Ali hoped that black people would come together and love one another and themselves. Now that he was the heavyweight champion of the world, he thought he should speak out for black people. He said, I'm not happy riding in a Rolls Royce, living up on a hill, knowing that my brothers and sisters are down and hungry in a group line. It was 1967. The United States was fighting a war in Vietnam. The North Vietnamese said that they were not the enemy of black people. Your genuine struggle is on your native land. Go home now and alive, they said. American males had to register for the draft. All registered, but when he was called to serve, he said, as a minister of the religion of Islam, I refuse to be inducted into the armed forces of the United States. Many other young men had refused to enter, the army or refused to fight because of their religious beliefs. They were called conscientious objectors. A judge ruled that Ali's reasons for being a conscientious objector were legitimate, but he was still called up to serve. On April 28, 1967, Ali refused to be inducted into the army. He was sentenced to 5 years in jail, and his heavyweight championship was taken away. Many people thought the sentence was unfair, and Ali's lawyers appealed to higher courts for justice. It was a turbulent time. No war, peace, no. Fight, no. Justice on trial. I won't fight in Vietnam. Look at this picture. Ali no longer was allowed to fight. Spent much of his time as a public speaker. He spoke at colleges around the country and at meetings at the Nation of Islam. He especially liked talking to children. Many people considered him the people's champion. Ali was young and very good looking. He gave special meaning to the words, black is beautiful. Ali knew that if he lost his appeals, he would have to go to jail. If he changed his mind and joined the army, he would fight exhibitions and have an easy life. But he decided to follow his convictions, what he believed in. The man who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Woo, that sounds like Frederick Douglass. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. While Ali was waiting to see how his appeal would turn out, more and more people were objecting to the war in Vietnam. The civil rights movement had also grown. Ali's attitude seemed easier to understand. In October 1970, he was finally allowed to fight again. He won his return match against Jerry Quarry. October 1970, and this is October 2022. Wow, is that 52 years ago? The more things change, the more things remain the same. We're still in wars and rumors of wars, but still keep your convictions. God will lead you. But Smoking Joe Frazier was a heavyweight champion of the world, and boxing fans waited for a match between the two men. On March 8, 1971, Ali fought against Frazier and lost a tough fight. His fans were crushed, but Ali was determined to keep fighting. That's what I'm saying. Perseverance. Ooh, look at this beautiful. Come on. On June 28, 1971, the Supreme Court of the United States. We are celebrating our Ketanji Brown Jackson for her first week and serving in the Supreme Court. Check out her opening or her statements regarding that case as far as voting, the division of the new boundaries. I believe that was in Alabama or Arkansas. But just know that they were trying to lump all black people in one section instead of equally distributing them so that they can have their votes to count in a more significant way. Check her out. She represented. Well, anyway, the Supreme Court in 1971 ruled that Ali should have been excused from serving in the army. Ali, the fighter in the ring, had won an important fight in the Supreme Court. Yes! I never thought of myself as a great when I refused to go in the army, Ali said. All I did was stand up for what I believed. You have to do that. I wanted America to be America, and now the whole world knows that. Ali was the most entertaining fighter in the history of the sport. He fought every major fighter of his time. One of his toughest fights was known as the Rumble in the Jungle. He was going to fight George Foreman in Zaire in Central Africa. Foreman was the new heavyweight champion. Ali, now 32, was expected to lose to the younger fighter, but Ali had a different idea. Now you see me, now you don't. George thinks he will, but I know he won't. Oh, there you go, Gigi. When the fight started, the African crowd, which was in favor of Ali, shouted, "Ali Bamba Ye!" over and over again. Foreman wasn't bothered. He came forward and caught Ali against the ropes over and over. His massive arms swung at Ali. Ali's trainers yelled at him to get away from the ropes. Ali allowed Foreman to punch away under the hot lights. He called his plan of laying against the ropes the rope-a-dope. I lay on the ropes and said, "Punch, punch, sucker. I thought you could hit. That's a sissy punch." In the 8th round, Foreman tired, and Ali saw his chance. Ali's punches were fast and hard. Big George were fast. Big George Foreman was stunned, then hurt. He stumbled toward the canvas, and the referee started counting over him. Ali was once again the champion of the world. Look at that. Woo, that's a beautiful picture. Now, even though I do not espouse violence, no, I don't, but I'm just saying this artwork and the skill. Woo! Look at this. Ali fought for 7 more years after the Rumble in the Jungle. He finally retired in 1981 at the age of 39. His fighting career was over, and now he was facing yet another tough opponent, a nerve disorder called Parkinson's disease. God gave me this physical impairment to remind me that I'm not the greatest. Ali said, "He is. You better recognize." In 1996, Ali was asked to light the Olympic torch at the Games in Atlanta, Georgia. As he lifted the flame to light the torch, the world could see that he was still, within himself, a fighter and would continue fighting the disease. Millions of people around the world cheered him. Muhammad Ali was indeed the people's champion. Hey, let's do great things as we are a champion within ourselves. Yes, we are great. God made us great, all of us, but we know who's ultimately the greatest. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. We did it under 20 minutes. Have a good Saturday.